Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. I'm an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a cartoonist. And more importantly, today I am your instructor. So, hello, and welcome to another lesson. How are you guys doing? I have my coffee. I have my puppers. I have my sketchbook. I have my pens. So we are in a wonderful situation in which we get to draw and learn something cool today. So now we have to decide on what that is going to be. We normally focus on some part of anatomy or some part of focus on the drawing aspects that are hard for people, like eyes or the jaw or like the faces or bodies or hands or anything like that that normally tends to be a little difficult for people. So now I tend to simplify all this stuff in a way that makes a little bit more sense for people. And that's why people follow me. So if you guys please want to come join us in our lesson today, all you have to do is like the stream, share it if you guys feel like you are learning anything, and we can start learning something cool once you guys say a topic. Yay, thank you. Encourage more viewers to share. Hey, well, if you guys are encouraged to share, as TikTok has told me to be encouraging in your sharing. So, yesterday I was just drawing some pinups and I just was drawing some doodles. So, animals, huh? You guys want to draw some animals? We can totally draw animals. I love drawing animals and cute girls. Would it be okay if we like mix them all together? Because for me, like the aspect of a pinup is only enhanced if you have something along the lines of a cute animal to counteract the fact that you have something so sexually like appealing, right? You have a very sexually appealing thing which triggers a certain part in your brain, and then you have a really cute thing that triggers a different part of your brain, and the mixture of it just makes it really, really appealing to me. So if I am ever talking about drawing pinups, little cute characters like animals or monsters or a little sidekick is never too far behind in the conversation. Because for me, that is just ideally how it works. Like if you draw a really cute animal, it just enhances your pinup a little bit more. Learning how to add things to your scenes comes from experience and from understanding composition. If you guys are not aware of what composition is, it's the layout of, I guess, shapes or like elements that have flow within your thing, within your drawing, and then learning how to move those along to be able to tell a story. Or to tell, or to like do whatever you feel like telling better. Let's see. So let's see, what should he be doing? He looks a little devious. So he's probably gonna be like, hey, you wanna go into the woods and hibernate with me, girl? It's right over there. I have some berries. Yeah, what's up? She's probably not very interested. She's very happy with her Slurpee. So learning about contrast is one of the most untaught things. Like people don't teach contrast very much. And it's very interesting to me, like to understand why they don't do that. Now, contrast comes in all sorts of shapes. It comes in like in form, it comes in shapes, it comes in layout, it comes in color, it comes in like line work. Like contrast is one of the most under-taught concepts. Whoa, what was that sound? Oh, some sound was like, I've never heard that. Freaked me out for a second. Totally forgot what I was talking about too. Well, we're drawing animals today, huh? Okay, so what up, Rod? It's Charlie. What are we learning today? Hey, Charlie. Well, today we are learning a little bit about how to draw animals. So I'm going to teach you guys how to draw really cute animals from little simple shapes like beanbags. So learning how to draw a little beanbag like this can help you understand how to draw really simple yet like very dynamic little creatures. Just knowing where to put those little like bendy parts of the beanbag can help you create a lot of depth. Now, things like that are very easy to do. The combination of two circles is what gives you the beanbag. If you combine two circles together, you have these little indentations that happen. Okay? These little indentations, depending on how far back you take them, you can use them to be able to draw really cute, adorable things. An upside down whale. Or dolphin or whatever. Yay! Little tiny shapes that have a tiny bit of depth like this are essentially the building blocks for like a lot of things in life, including bodies. If you feel like drawing human bodies later on, this is going to be a fantastic way to learn how to draw the human body, because this is essentially giving you all the roadmaps for it. So understanding how to draw a human skeleton, a human figure, a human shape is very easy if you learn how to draw it, regardless of the shape and the size and the style, right? It doesn't matter how you distinguish it. You can add volume, you can take volume, you can taper this, you can make it pucker up, you can add stuff, you can take away stuff. But at the core, it's this little beanbag. That little beanbag can also turn into things like fingers, can turn into things like hands, arms, legs, all that stuff, okay? The beanbag is pretty much the ultimate shape when it comes down to drawing. And I highly stand above that. Like, I highly believe that. Being able to take two shapes and just learn how those overlap can teach you everything from how to draw different fingers, how to draw shapes in space. It can teach you by making one bigger and one smaller. It can teach you a little bit about foreshortening. Okay, so combining them together, bunch of beanbags together, give you semblances of like tubes or pipes, and that can also be used for all your design work. So today we are just gonna happen to use that to be able to draw really cute characters. A beanbag allows you to draw little circles inside and be able to come up with a bunch of little lines that you can use as guidelines to be able to draw your characters. If you're able to be a little creative and think outside the lines a little bit, you're going to be able to draw all sorts of things from these without much detail needed or much anatomy or anything like that. You just have to be a little creative as to how you use a little squishy ball. How do you make things look more 3D? Add circles inside. So if you take a simple shape, right, and we add a circle inside, what happens? Well, we have officially created guidelines that we can use to be able to draw things like our faces and stuff like that, but we also created depth. So if I were to want to, let's say, separate this into two entities, like, I don't know, a neck and a collarbone for our bodies, this is how you start learning how to do that. Drawing circles inside a simple cylinder can teach you how to draw the jaw into the neck. Very, very easy. Ta-da! Understanding how to use your basic shapes and being creative with them is going to make or break how you draw your things. Being able to use your basic shapes to be able to create things is essentially the cornerstone of how most artwork is taught nowadays. So that's why a lot of teachers tell you, focus on your foundations, focus on your foundations. But they don't really tell you why. Well, once you learn how to draw a sphere, all you need is 2 hemispheres of that sphere to be able to draw an eyeball. All you need is 2 hemispheres to be able to draw a mouth. Once you learn how to draw a pyramid, now you can draw noses. Now you can draw a pyramid by drawing a triangle, a dot, and then just deciding what type of nose you want. And you can do that at any stage, at any point, because you know a basic shape. Understanding that basic shape is just your guideline, allows you to now use that as a basis to be able to draw even more interesting shapes. So you don't always go with a pyramid for a nose. Now you can round them out, but now you have a better understanding of it. That is why we learn basic shapes. We learn basic shapes and we practice these all the time so we know where our arms come out of from the sides, so that we know how our neck and our head connect, so that we know how our hip bones connect to the rest of our body, and so that we're not obstructed by things like not knowing where something goes. Okay? If you don't know, it's okay. It takes a long time to normally learn these things. And it's normally a really hard thing to actually master. It's one of those things that you can learn really easy. You can learn really easy, but mastering it is going to be a thing that takes you a long time. Okay? You can learn how to draw simple all you want, but learning how to understand it is another different topic. How do you draw an animal that walks on all fours? Well, you know how we have a rib cage, right? Animals have a rib cage. You know how we have a little circle for hip bones? Well, they have a circle with hip bones, but it's just in a different direction. They have a collarbone as well, so a little compass at the top of our neck. An animal isn't very different than a human when it comes down to its actual anatomy, because we're both mammals. It's just a matter of understanding how that anatomy works to be able to make it work for us in the way that we need it. Okay? Understanding that body parts maybe move a little bit different, right? Maybe the angles are a little bit different, but in essence, we're all mammals. We're both mammals. So we are going to have a rib cage. We're going to have hip bones that can be come up really easy by splitting a circle in half. Belly button, top of hip bone, top of hip bone. Draw a circle, draw a circle. That spacing in between is your goodies. And these, you can just follow them into little cones or whatever shape you want for your legs. Your body goes up from there into whatever egg you choose with a compass. And now you have access to a whole body system in like 2 seconds. Congratulations. You have now leveled up a little bit. So now, knowing that you have that and you have this, it's just a matter of organizing it in ways that make sense. So an egg with a big hip bones can maybe make like, I don't know, a panda bear or something. Again, what is that little squeak sound? I don't know what that is. I know it's something with you guys, but I have no idea where it's coming from. It's like boink. Insomniac, I'm sorry. I was thinking I struggle, I think, with arms and faces on my body. So the arms are actually relatively simple to teach. You just need to learn how they come out of your body. So if we think of our rib cage like an egg, and we think of our collarbone like a little compass at the top, this becomes a very important little point. Our head is going to come up from here as a cylinder. Our head, okay, cool. So there we have our middle of our rib cage. We're going to connect this to the middle of the rib cage. That gives us our pectoral muscles. This also gives us a little curvature that we can use to come up with a circle for our arms. This circle allows me to now draw 2 extra circles and connect the edges, and we have a hand or an arm. Okay, ta-da! Learning how to find that circle is the hard part. Learning how to find it is the hard part. Everything else is easy from there. That compass can change. That circle doesn't change. Boom, boom, boom. You can do any pose you want once you find this out. So if you scrunch your shoulders up, the little wingies of the compass go up. If you don't want a pose like that, you can have a pose that's more down. Boom, boom. Guess what? Your arms go down. Ooh, miraculously, right? You can control this very easily by just changing the direction of that. Creates a new circle, and now you have access to a different pose. So this point right here, that is your pivot for your arm. Wherever that goes, your arm goes with it. So if you have your pivot going up, this becomes the outside edge of your arm. The volume comes back inside to where that circle goes. Boom. And all of a sudden, that hand, that little triangle, just looks like a hand now. Let's point it this way this time. Outside edge of my arm, connected back to the body. Boom. Oh, what happens if I bend it? Boom. See what I mean? So understanding that pivot point is so important that it literally simplifies every body shape. Here we have our circle. Our compass touches the edges, becomes the outside point of my arm, and then the volume for my arm is just that connecting back to that egg. That is the easiest way that you can ever think about arms. It gives you access to being able to change them slightly in any direction you feel like. Right? And it actually makes you understand the connecting point with your anatomy. So you're drawing something simple, but at the same time, you are doing something incredibly complex. The reason that it's coming out a little bit simpler is because you're just simplifying all those shapes to core components. Like straight up, you're eliminating the shoulder in this point because the shoulder is just something that goes on top like armor. You don't need the shoulder to understand that. Your arm and your shoulder goes on top. Your shoulder's like armor that helps pivoting your arm. But at first, when you're learning, you don't need to know that. Most of the time, it's super complicated to teach the neck because people keep on thinking of all these little lines and everything that's inside of it. but they're overlooking the simplicity of the shape that happens underneath. It kind of looks like an eyeball. And when you have muscles, it's like an eyeball with an eyelid. Your shoulder connects at the sides like petals. And from that pivot point down, we have our pectoral muscles in our arms. So yeah, it's kind of like the eye of Sauron. It kind of is. It actually, that's the way that I used to teach it, as a kaiju eye. So you draw your kaiju eye, and then from there, you draw a cylinder to draw your faces. That gives you your back muscles. This gives you your collarbone, and it gives you that mapping point for your shoulders and for your pectoral muscles and your arms. So everything comes from there. So it just gives you access to the rib cage, the size of the head, and essentially it just opens up everything based on that little compass or kaiju eye or whatever you want to call it. And that applies to everything. Like this guy has it too. Circle, the size of the neck. Edge, edge. He has that. He has the rib cage. My hips are going to connect at an angle, and that angle comes from a circle. The middle of that circle is going to be a belly button. And when you start connecting all those points, you get access to knowing where your arms go. Once I know where my arm goes, all I need to do is draw 2 more circles and learn how to connect the edges. Okay? Once I know how this circle works, I can connect the edge of that circle. This point gave me my pectoral muscle already, so I already know where the middle of my chest is. And this rib cage is going to give me access to knowing where my hip bones and everything else is because it gives me access to this mass. This mass gives me access to 2 circles at an angle that, again, allow me to connect 2 circles to be able to draw a body. So that is just my own personal way of drawing humans. Just happens to be a very simple one. Circle, like an egg with a circle, draw a circle underneath, and this intersection right here, the intersection is going to be where your belly button is. Okay? Your belly button gives you access to knowing where your hip bone top are. If you draw a circle across, the top of your hip bones are going to touch here and here. The width of your leg is going to come down from there. And then your leg comes out from there. And again, the same thing happens. You find circles, you can draw 2 more circles and draw yourself a leg. So this has another way of learning it. This is the sushi. A sushi involves having a circle, drawing from the edge, going around the edge, and back into your shape. This gives you 2 connecting points, which you just draw your circles, and now you have your circles and your belly button. From there, you draw an egg and a compass, and you have yourself a whole body structure in like a second. When you want to rotate the egg, just rotate it over the sphere. And then you have access to as many poses as you possibly want. You just have to get used to overlapping your shapes a little bit more. You keep thinking that pauses are... No, I'm just clearing my throat most of the time. Hey, thank you, Jake. Thank you for the little dinosaur. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Okay, so this character is the same thing. It's an egg. The hip bones are a little bit bigger, so I'm going to draw my circle a little bit bigger. My legs are going to connect at an angle. This leg is going forward, and it's covering, so I'm going to draw a circle before it, and I'm going to connect the angles, giving myself volume. The leg is coming on this way. The circle is like that. The volume for my feet. This other leg, I have this circle. We have it bent, so I'm going to draw the other circle here, connect the edges, and then this leg is going to come in and be hidden by the other one. I'm going to make it in a little bit darker shade so it actually stands out. We're going to find the middle of my egg. I'm going to draw my circle. That circle is going to be the width of my neck. But in this case, the head is a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to use the back end and draw my spine. So I find the very back of my head first. Then I'm going to draw whatever volume I want for my head. And I'm going to connect it back to that circle. Congratulations, I have done a simple head. The compass goes from the back to wherever you want it expanded. And then from there, my arm goes down. In this case, it's going in. So that's the outside edge of my arm. And then I add my volume inside. My boobs are in the middle. It's a little heart that comes out of that little hole. And then the other arm is coming out this way. Boom, boom. And then coming back up. Boom, boom, boom. Into whatever drink. My hair, it's just a little shape like that. And I ground my character by drawing a little shadow underneath. So that's the basic shapes that I would use to draw something like this. Almost all professional artists, yeah. How do you draw the neck ruffles? The neck ruffles on a jester. Okay, so let's draw a jester. So let's draw a human. We'll draw, boo, boo, boo. The jesters have like clown makeup, right? Kind of like that. Da, 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 da. So we're gonna have a little jester smiling, yay! And we're gonna give him like his jester hat. Okay, so then you have that. His neck is gonna connect to the body. That body is gonna be an egg with a little circle at the top with a compass. The neck is gonna connect from the outside edge of where your ear is down to the outside edge of this circle. The ruffles that we choose to add in here, he's probably gonna have like that weird like circus stuff. The ruffles would just be a zigzag, and then you connect the top and the bottom with a circle. So you make a zigzag that goes around, and then you draw a circle, a circle. The neck is gonna come out of here. And that's how you would go about it. Is that Walter White? No, that's me, dude. Welcome to Mr. Baldman's world. Okay, back at it. Boom. You guys get a little face reveal. Okay, so let's go over the compass again. It seems like you guys want to just have like a little body like lesson today. So let's just focus on that because that actually seems like a very good one. You're so cute. Oh, well, thank you, Jody. I do appreciate a compliment when I hear it. Yeah, I've never really thought much of myself until recently, where I've started showing my face to people and people think I'm cute, and I'm like, sure. It's kind of like a stray animal is cute, like, oh, that's adorable. Art dad, is that what you call me? Art dad? Oh, Jesus. No. Could I at least be like art daddy or something? Like, that sounds better. I don't know. I don't know. Art papa? I still have two questions. I'm eventually what? Eventually gonna ask to do with animals. Yeah, ask them away. Ask away. This is your time, man. Like, this is why I give you guys like access to me like during this time. It's so you guys can Sifu. Sifu. I didn't know Sifu was a panda. Like they draw him so weird. It's not a he doesn't look like a red panda. If Sifu was a red panda, hold on. We're gonna draw a red panda real fast. So red pandas have big poofy ears, so they got that right. And then they have big like white ears. And then they have a nice little face. And then they have little tiny nubbies for feet. And their faces are weird. Let me see if I remember. It's like, what is it? It's kind of like a question mark on both sides. And then they have a little mark on top. And then their bellies are white. And they have white someplace. But I totally forgot. I just did a course on them too. Interesting. But anyways, if we had this guy, but with long fingernail like things, and then he had like his robes and stuff like that, that would have been a better Sifu, I think. Like a character that was just like an actual red panda and not like an ambiguously looking like mammal that's small. Can you do something on making both eyes look the same? Okay. Well, that one's interesting. So, what do you mean? So, if you have an eyeball, right? And you draw it all cool, if you don't draw the other eye before that, if you don't match it up in size and detail, it might look a little bit off. Now, if you mean drawing through your nose bridge so that they look like the same, that's a slightly different lesson. Okay? Understanding that your nose is going to block a little bit of that other eye whenever you're looking in 3/4 and stuff. That tends to be something that tends to get people. They don't seem to understand that they have to draw through your shapes. And not drawing through your shapes is what's preventing you from being able to draw that properly. So what you probably do is that you thin out the eye. Because I used to do that. Right? Just thin it out. But this works in cartooning, but if you don't realize that the reason that it's being thinned out is because the nose bridge is blocking it, then you're never going to progress past that. And it's going to be really difficult for you to understand even worse situations where the nose is being blocked from a different direction. Because at this point, just making it skinny doesn't really work. Right? So you probably don't draw situations that call for a different way of drawing the face because it's difficult for you. So let's think about this completely different. Okay, don't think about like drawing an eye skinnier, one drawing one eye bigger. Try to understand it like this, and this is what helped me. When you're drawing a face and you find your midline, we all find the midline. We all normally do this, right? When you find that, wherever you're splitting this, use that as a guideline for your eyes. Right? That midline, if you draw it completely straight, that's fine for now. I'll teach you guys how to not do that after this. From there, let me zoom in. Boom, boom. All you need to do is draw a little space in between. And then from this point to this point, it's a curvy line. From this point to this point, it's a curvy line. There's another curvy line underneath that you're going to intersect it like this. Boop. Like that. But you're not going to draw the intersecting lines, obviously. You draw whatever styling you want inside. And now you have a nice little guideline to give yourself eyes. Now, the eyebrow is just a little cone above that. So your eyebrows are going to be a little bit longer than your eye. And you're going to have even doing the little shading for these. Boom, boom, boom. You can add your eyelid if you want to, your teardrop, any eyelashes by thickening that line up, right? And then this space in between, that's your nose bridge. The mouth is going to be like if you put both of your eyes together. And that's going to be the rough size of your eye, of your mouth. That's going to be the rough estimate size of your mouth. Boom, boom. Your chin, it's just a little ball underneath. The side of your face gets determined by the side of your eyebrows. And then from the side of your eyebrows down to your chin, we have your cheekbones. Yeah, so you see, when we turn this into the side, so let's turn this, our face is not a flat thing going up and down. This is why it's normally difficult to draw this like this. But if you draw a circle around, if you just draw a circle and you only take into consideration the front line, you have that roundness that goes around your shape. You can do that from wherever your ear is down, and you have yourself a jaw. Like, it's sometimes so hard for me to understand that this was hard for me at one point. Like, at one point, I did not know any of this stuff. Right? I had to come up with a lot of these measures on my own so that I could draw more efficiently. My rule of patience? What do you mean patience? You have to be incredibly patient in anything. Because things don't come easy. Something that comes easy is normally probably not worth it. Like, honestly, let's be honest here. If something comes really easy, do we even want it? If something doesn't have a little bit of like a struggle, like, is it even like considered a victory getting it? And that's not with like you take pride in what you work for, right? We all take pride. We all take incredible pride in what we do. Like, it doesn't matter if it's knitting or we are the best basketball player in the college or whatever, you know? We normally find something to be very proudful of, and then we work hard at it so that we have a justification for being proud of that. If something's given to you super easy, like, you just kind of go like, I won it, easy, I can lose it easy, fuck it, who cares? And that tends to be more of the case. When you spend time honing your skills, that's why nobody respects 3D, like AI artists, by the way. That's why nobody respects AI artists. It's just Like, dude, like it took you like what? Like a couple minutes to learn a prompt, and then you think that you are calling yourself on par with the people that have spent years doing it? I'm like, no, no, go back to the drawing board, buddy. It's okay. It takes a while, and that's okay. That's okay. It normally takes a while. Patience is a virtue that not everybody has nowadays. Everybody wants something quick. Everybody wants that tip. Everybody wants that new like technique that's gonna give you like your style. And like, I don't want to have to work on my foundations to find my style. I don't want to have to do references. I don't want to have to do, people are silly. People are really silly. Being an artist is not easy at all, at all. It's incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard and taxing on your brain, on your mind, on your body. Like, it's not as taxing as, say, being a construction worker on your body, but if you've never experienced art block, woo, that's a terrifying notion, especially when you are a designer for a living. Because if you don't draw, if you don't feel inspired and you can't create, then you can't eat. And imagine if you needed inspiration to be like an engineer or like, like a lawyer. How little would you get done? Oh, Mr. like Highness, Your Highness. That's what they call the court people, right? Like the judges. Your Highness, I don't feel like defending this person today. I'm just not feeling it. Can we postpone and come back to this when I feel a little bit better? Just imagine what pandemonium that would be. That would be insane. That would be nuts. But that's what some people think being an artist is. No, my dearies. If you guys choose to do this as a living, you guys don't get to be art blocked anymore. You guys don't get to. And that's a privilege. That's a privilege that people that don't do this for a living have. Okay? You don't get to. And that's the terrifying and stressful notion about being an artist. You don't get to have the choice of being inspired or not. You're a professional. At this point, you should be able to work without it, and you are expected to. Okay? So that is essentially the big difference between taking this as a hobby and then actually taking it to the next level and being serious about it. How badly do you have like confidence in your art skills that you know that you'll be able to pay your bills every month confidently with those said art skills? Woof. Just like thinking about it like that, like just makes my like hair stick out, and I don't even have hair. You don't even want to know what type of hair is sticking out. Like, I'm so happy that I learned my skills when I did. And I'm happy that I pushed when I needed to, instead of letting myself fall prey to the easy work, the easy money, the easy paycheck that comes along with sometimes taking an easier job just to pay the bills. It's a hit or miss. Sometimes it's really good to have a job that gives you a steady income while you work on your progress. So I get it. It's a hit or miss. It really depends on the person and what your goals are going to be and what you want to achieve at the long run. For example, for me, I was never a person that wanted to be employed. I never did. I never went into the world of art thinking that I wanted to be someone's employee. Okay, I never did that. I didn't want to be a studio. I didn't want to work for Marvel. I didn't want to work for DC. I didn't want to work for shit. I wanted to do my own thing, build my own little world, my own, little slice of pie, and then just build and have a happy, creative life like that. Fortunately for me, I stayed with it enough that I have actually accomplished that. But I still worked for companies and production places for 20 years in order to be able to get to the point where I felt confident in me pursuing my own thing. And that's a person that is driven to that. So it takes a while. Okay? If you happen to just randomly end up in this venture and you're like, oh my God, this is terrifying. Would you consider opening up a studio? No. I don't trust people. Like, it depends. It depends. Like, depends on what type of studio we're talking about. If we're talking about like a studio for production work, like, oh, we're going to build animations and stuff like that, absolutely not. Too many egos. Way too many egos. Way too many egos get in the way, and everybody wants to be like, oh, I want to be the leader. Oh, I want my idea to be done first. Oh, I don't want to work on other people's stuff until I get to work on my things. Too many fucking egos get in the way of anybody creating anything good. Okay? So when too many egos are in play, nothing gets done. Nothing at all. So I hate working in teams because I have a huge ego. I have a gigantic ego, and I always think that I know better. I always think that I know best, and I always am right most of the time. Unfortunately, I'm right most of the time. And I hate being the person that says, I told you so. Because I'm also a big people pleaser. So I tend to just be like, whatever, let's just get your shit done first. Oh, I told you so. Crap like that. So I hate working in teams because I don't know how to say no, and I don't know how to make other people understand the importance of things. So I just stopped working with teams a long time ago. Like, I stopped thinking that I could accomplish something as a group, and I started thinking, what can I actually accomplish on my own? What can I do on my own that requires absolutely, literally zero contribution from any other human? And I'm going to focus solely on that. I'm going to focus on that because I know that I can accomplish that. I know that given any amount of time, I can accomplish anything on my own that I can accomplish on my own. I'm not unrealistic with my expectations. I don't think I'm going to create an entire animation or a comic book series or anything like that on my own. No, I wanted to bring some benefit to the world, and it just happened to be teaching. So for me, I don't care about working for a studio. I don't want to work for Marvel or like Disney or stuff like that. I don't. I really don't. I mean, if I end up landing a job like that, that'd be cool, but I'm not searching for it. And it better be something that is actually worth my time. Otherwise, I just don't care about it. And that also puts me ahead of other people that are so desperate to get those jobs because I'm not relying on somebody else to build that future for me. I'm taking it upon myself to build it. And I highly suggest that you guys take that same approach. Would you get paid well? Sometimes. It depends on the animation studio. Depends on the project. Depends on your contract. Depends on how much you value your work. Depends on how much you're willing to take as a payment. If they're looking for people and you're willing to take pennies on the dollar, they will take you on pennies on the dollar. Like, you set your worth in this industry. If you don't think your artwork is worth a living wage, they don't give a fuck. They won't give you a living wage. They'll just give you whatever they can get away with giving you. It's not about, to them, it's just about bottom dollar. How can I get this project done without going over budget? That is what they look at. They don't look at the project. They don't look at your skills. Maybe if you have a very specialized art skill that you need, but they're not really looking at that. They're looking at how much skill can we get for a cheap dollar. And when they get what they need out of you, they dispose of you. And that's why a lot of people have like 3 to 4 or 6 month contracts, and that's it. They have to look for work after that again. And then after that, and then after that, and then after that, and they just keep bouncing studio to studio to studio. Yeah, they generate a ton of experience and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just like you just keep getting bounced around. You don't have a solid place to just build an actual career. And then you're just constantly looking for work. So it's, I don't know, some people like that lifestyle. I personally think it's completely deterring. Like, I don't want to do that. Again, I don't know about you. If that's something that's appealing to you, for all, it's like, just go apply to studios. Can you make an animation live stream? I mean, I could, but I don't like animation as an art form. I like watching it. I don't like doing it. It takes too long. My brain is just not geared like that. Could you do anime art style? What's anime art style? Is anime art style just the eyes, the mouths, or what do you mean? I can draw any art style that is required of me, honestly. I know how to break down things in a way that makes sense to me. So it doesn't matter what art style I'm working on. It doesn't matter at all. It could be like comic bookish style. It could be old grimy 1920 style. It could be Betty Boop 1950s, like editorial cartooning style. Doesn't matter. Like, it's all easily broken down into the systems that I have set in my brain. So I can draw in any single like style. I can break down people's styles incredibly quickly. It doesn't really take much time for me. It doesn't matter if it's like a Pixar or like an old school Disney situation. You know, it's all the same to me. It's just lines. Definitely gonna be checking these more out. Hey, yeah, you're welcome, man. You learn a lot. At least I'd like to think people do. Because I explain it from like a struggling artist point of view, you know? Like I struggled with all these things a lot. Like, I didn't know how to draw eyes. I didn't know how to draw noses. I didn't know how to draw all this shit. So whenever I explain it to people, I try to explain it in the way that I learned it. And that seems to actually help people understand things a little bit more. And now we have over 300, almost 320,000 people just on TikTok alone. Not counting like the 180K on Instagram and the 75,000 on YouTube, and who knows how many more on like the other platforms, because I don't even check. But what I do is helping people, and people resonate with it. So I'm happy that I can bring some service to my art community. Because if you don't really know, once you learn, you should give back to your community. Give back to the world that gave you so much joy and happiness in the form of helping the next generation get to the level quicker so that they can improve on what we've done before. Right? Like, I want something new. I want some cool new shit to happen. You know, I want people to expand beyond what I'm teaching and then be able to like get to deeper levels of understanding, you know, hopefully before I die, but if not, just, you know, at some point. Like, there has to be some sort of new renaissance in the way that we see shit. Like, we're still drawing techniques that have been like established since who the fuck knows when. Like, I don't know when Loomis was alive. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know if he was like a person that lived in the 1960s. You know, like 1600s, whatever. I don't know, but that technique has been used for a very long time. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that teach that technique think that this is like a beginner level thing, you know? So a lot of beginners don't know what they're doing. They just draw lines and they're like, okay, we drew the lines, but now we're going to draw our body parts. And you're like, no. They're like, stop. That's not how you're supposed to use that. And it's just like, it's super funny to me, like, because teaching people how to draw should always begin with understanding volume. If you don't understand volume, like, how are you gonna draw anything like accurately? Like, volume comes from understanding this simple shape, a circle and a circle. Gives you so many different things, right? It gives you like one side of your sphere. If you split it, like a half orange, it gives you the other side as well. It gives you division points where you can use to draw, like, I don't know, ears or arms or whatever coming out of it. Drawing a circle inside a circle. If you do it a couple times with different width circles, you get a sphere. You get a globe. And then little by little, you understand that those little hemispheres are the power behind the things that we draw. Things like eyes and mouths and stuff like that come from these shapes. Understanding how to draw them just comes from understanding how to draw a sphere or a circle incredibly well. And later on, when you start using the spheres and you start making them into ovals, you start generating the power to be able to draw overlapping lines, which anybody with the right sense of mind can tell you that that is how things like limbs get introduced to your system, okay? That is how you learn to draw things like body parts. So that is essentially, I don't know why you had to verify. Maybe you're spam, man. Are you a bot? Are you an advanced bot now? And it's like, now they're asking us if we are real. Why did I have to click on the bicycles? So all hands are just overlapping lines with each other, and you get to choose which one of those sides work, right? That's all there is. And these are all just circles that are expanded from a circle to an oval. And then you overlap the oval, and then you draw things with it. So with that being said, I believe that is going to be the end of our stream today. Thank you to the 28,000 people that were more than lovely by clicking that little heart button. I hope that you guys learned a little bit. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope that seeing these explanations being put into play instead of just getting told or talked about helped you guys understand the simplicity at which you have to be able to get to these, right? The way that I'm drawing is not the way that I draw. And person, like, this is all shortcutted in my head. So if I were to draw these things without any explanation, you guys wouldn't really understand what I'm drawing. Like, if I drew this, right, and you guys just saw me drawing body parts in it, you guys would be like, oh my God, this guy knows really move, he knows how to do stuff. But you wouldn't really know what I'm drawing. I'm visualizing all those elements that we talked about. I don't really know what I'm drawing. I'm visualizing all those elements that we talked about underneath. Every single one of them. And then I'm deciding to omit a lot of that line work so that my line work is cleaner. So whenever you are seeing somebody draw, if they're not explaining to you what they're seeing, odds are you are not getting the full package. You're not getting everything that that person is thinking. So that's why process videos from artists kind of are silly to me. Like it's cool to see the process, but you're not really going to get anything really explained from that. Unless the person takes the time to be able to actually talk about what they're doing in the drawing. But anyways, that's just my opinion. You guys can feel however you want about that. Hope you guys have a fantastic start to your week. Hope you guys kick some butt. Hope you guys start your projects. I hope that you all have a clicky moment at least once this week. At least once, you should have a little clicky moment. And if you don't, let me know, and I will do what I can to make sure that that happens. Until then, my friends, I will let you guys go. My name is RODGON. I'm a professional artist, illustrator, cartoonist, pinup artist, wannabe heist, Ocean's 11 achiever at one point in my life. And more than anything, I am your instructor today. Thank you so much for joining my lesson. You guys are an absolute delight to have had. I do look forward to these every single day. And until we meet again, have a lovely day. Go learn more stuff on my YouTube channel and go subscribe so that you guys don't miss out on any other lessons that we do. Okay? Take care, everybody. Love you all. RODGON out.